Hey everyone, this is Dan. Today's review, I'm going to be doing the 2006 film Ring Around the Rosie, directed by somebody named Ruby Zach, starring Gina Phillips from Jeepers Creepers fame and Tom Sizemore, who's been in so many good movies, it's hard to even list them. So this is another one of the movies off the 8-pack I talked about in my intro video. Like I said, I do want to run through all 8 of these films. 3 down, 5 to go. I've seen April Fool's Day remake. I'll probably wait till I get the original April Fool's Day before I review this one. But so earlier in my intro, I believe, or one of my videos, I said that usually when I go to Amazon, I agree with the review 8 out of 10 times, approximately. I was wrong. I don't know what the hell I was thinking when I said that. Because so far, I'm learning from reviewing these films that my reviews differ from Amazon greatly. This is 3 stars on Amazon out of 5, and I don't see how it could possibly be that high. On IMDb, this film's 3.3 out of 10. I feel like that's more on par, even though that seems a little bit high. For me, this is the only film this guy's ever directed. He also wrote the film. And I'm not sure how he got such a good cast for this film. I mean, it has Tom Sizemore, Gina Phillips, like I said. It even has Happy Gilmore's grandma in it. I can't remember her name right now, but she has a brief little scene as the grandmother in this film. So with what they're working with here, the cast, and granted, this is a very small cast. I believe there's only maybe 7 characters in the whole film. So maybe they were able to utilize their budget on a couple good actors instead of spreading it around. But still, this film just, to me, I don't understand. Like, it just sucked. This is arguably the worst film I've reviewed so far. 976 Evil 2, the Astral Factor is up there. But this one is definitely in the running. It'd be a hard choice between picking which one was worse. So this review will contain spoilers. I'm going to talk about this film very briefly. So the film starts off, Gina Phillips' character, she's working in an office somewhere in the city, has a boyfriend, and she gets a call from her grandmother. I guess her grandmother's sick on her deathbed. She goes to the hospital to see her. This is where Happy Gilmore's grandmother comes in. Like I said, I can't remember her name. And, she just tells her, like, hey, I'm leaving you the guest house or the cabin home or whatever she said. The guest house or the cabin home. Anyway, she's leaving her this house in the middle of nowhere, basically. I haven't been there in 25 years. And, yeah. So she shows up. She's with her husband at first. They get there. She's kind of having a few little flashbacks here and there. Her and her husband are in bed at night. Or they're actually not her husband because her boyfriend, they had this little scene where it showed that she had commitment issues. But still, her boyfriend, they're laying in bed. And she looks out the window and she sees like an apparition or a figure, a dark figure of some kind. And it scares her. So he has to leave and go back to the city for work, and she's going to stay there for a while alone. Well, she ends up running into somebody who's a caretaker, played by Tom Sizemore. And, yeah, so he's the caretaker of this house. So really, for me, right away, I had a feeling this was going to be one of those not real movies. That was just my initial impression. I was just kind of like, okay, this is going to be like all a dream, all a figment of her imagination. Just something. It just had that feeling building up because Tom Sizemore's character comes out of nowhere. They're keeping horses there. Now, granted, they supposedly haven't been there in 25 years. The grandmother never mentioned that this guy's the caretaker. So he's like, oh, I'm the caretaker of this property, and he has some horses and stuff that are running around. And he has like this little guest house next to the big house that he lives in. And yeah, and she's even like, oh, this seems like it would take a lot of time and effort to keep a place like this up. And he's like, oh, I don't mind. It's like, yeah, okay, you can just tell. I'm telling you, if you've seen the film, you know what I mean. You can just tell right away it's leading up to be one of the not real films, So, at first, Tom Sizemore's character, and he, granted, both Gina Phillips and Tom Sizemore did a decent job in this film, I want to say. They weren't terrible. I mean, Tom Sizemore, he always plays a good, crazy person. And, I've seen him act better for sure. He did do 6 films this year when I looked up on his filmography. So I don't know why he took this role. Maybe he was broke. Maybe the script looked better. Who knows why he took this role? But he did a lot of movies that year. So I mean, he did okay, but his heart wasn't in it. Gina Phillips, yeah, she is what she is. She's an average actress, but she did a good job. I mean, I just don't think they were really given all that much. So okay, I'm gonna try to get through the rest of this film really quick. So she starts again. They get along for a little bit. She's having all these weird visions and dreams, and she ends up falling out of a window. And Tom Sizemore's there just at the perfect time to catch her. And then her sister shows up, and out of nowhere, when she has a sister, the sister shows up. Them two are getting along. She tells her sister, "Oh, I'm a scaredy cat. Don't leave me." So the sister stays there. The sister and Tom Sizemore end up kind of like getting the hots for each other a little bit. You can tell she likes him. Through this time, she's just kind of investigating little things. And there's just so many scenes that it's giving you to let you know that this film's really not going to be real. I mean, even with her falling out of the window and him catching her, like even that, like, oh, like he was just there at the perfect time. And so it ends up, her husband ends up starting to worry about her. So he sends out a police officer to check on her. Police officer gets there, goes around. He comes back to her and he's like, oh, everything looks okay and checks out. And then as soon as the police officer goes off camera, Tom Sizemore's character comes on camera. So again, like the police officer didn't see his character at all. Again, just an easy tell that, okay, he's not real. He's just a figment of her imagination, or he's a ghost or something, clearly. So, man, so her sister, the final act of the film is basically her and her sister. She won't escape. That's another hint that this is not real. She refuses to escape. I mean, she has every opportunity. She thinks this guy's a psycho. He's starting to act like a psycho at this point. She refuses to escape, even though it'd be so easy to escape. And yeah, so then the end of the film, Tom Sizemore and her sister are dancing in his little guest room, and then he starts turning psycho on her. She runs down. She looks through the window. She sees that he's abusing her. She takes the horse, ties it to the door, rips the door open. There's a chase scene where he's chasing both of them. He ends up knocking the sister out of the window. She falls to her death. Gina Phillips ends up. Tom Sizemore falls on a knife. She pulls a knife out, stabs him, twists it, kills him. She runs down, and there's a dark figure coming at her in the night while she's holding her dead sister in the rain. And then as it gets closer, it turns out to be her boyfriend. The boyfriend's like, are you okay? What happened? She's like, oh, he killed my sister. And at this point, it stopped raining. And she turns around, and there's nobody there. So, and then the guy's like, oh, your sister died 17 years ago. And so apparently this whole movie essentially was just, she was just crazy or dreaming. It really doesn't even tell. And then her sister's ghost or whatever waves to her at the end of the film, and then shows two twin girls laying in bed, and then some dark figure comes and stands over them. So, there just really was nothing here. Like, even that review felt too long. What are we at, 8 minutes and 30 seconds? Like, this should have been a 3-minute review. Just nothing here. Just predictable, not scary, not creepy, generic, every word in the book. I mean, this should have been my first real rant, to tell you the truth, but I'm just not even in the mood right now. Just wanted to get through it. Like, I didn't expect much. Whenever you buy an 8-pack of films like this, there's going to be some bad ones thrown in. So, just wanted to get through it quick. But yeah, that's my review for Ring Around the Rosie from 2006. Not recommended. If I had to rate it, I would go 1.5 out of 5. Think that, 1, like I said, 1 is just absolute filth and rubbish that's just nearly impossible to sit through. I did manage to sit through this, even though I did almost doze a couple times and did have to keep pausing it and doing stuff in the meantime just to get through it. But I did make it through, so I'll give it 1.5. Good cast for what it is, but again, just not a good film at all. So thanks for watching.